So one of the big parts last couple days I was noticing on this was the challenge at play for the Seattle Seahawks coming down the home stretch of this season. You know, you've got teams that are really legitimately good teams this year. The Rams, 49ers, for as much as they've been a zombified team this season and injuries have hit, they just keep winning. They just keep going. They just keep stacking up some dubs on that side of it. Indianapolis Colts do have Daniel Jones working through a little bit of a fracture in his lower leg, but he's going to play. And that Colts team does still remain dangerous. It's the number one team out there in the AFC South at 8-3. You're going to have a Minnesota Vikings team that's still tough, though. The record's not on the good side of things. And then you've got, of course, the Falcons that are going to go with Kirk Cousins and still themselves, like the Vikings, I'd say this week, or these are going to be two of the easier games on your schedule. But you also have two teams that are still very dangerous, still very full stocked with talent, still able to, if you don't bring your A game, take you down. And then you've got, of course, in addition to that, the Carolina Panthers that are right there neck and neck with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for first place in the NFC South. And so you have a very tremendously tough schedule. And that got me thinking a little bit about, well, where we've been here so far this year is having an easier schedule. You know, your real centerpiece kind of victories so far this year have been the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, now all those teams do have winning records. So I think that they are, you know, legitimate wins, but they're maybe not knocking off the best of the best in the sport. You know, if there's a top 7 teams in the sport in the NFL this year, maybe you've not taken down one of those as of yet. But part of that is the schedule that you've had to play, and you can only play the schedule that they give you. And when you do look at the Seattle Seahawks schedules, you'll notice here on this strength of schedule that was posted here, and that is that first on the past SOS, that is the past strength of schedule. You look at the 2 columns here. It's future strength of schedule. That's the games remaining this year. And then you have past strength of schedule. That would be the games that have happened up until this point. And what you will notice with Seattle is that the disparity between the two are as big as you will probably find in the NFL. And that is that the Seattle Seahawks on the past strength of schedule and the way that it's been set up for them is, so we got the hardest schedule remaining, 32 hardest strength of schedule. All right. So 1 is easiest strength of schedule, 29 is hardest. So the 29 might look like, well, that 29 maybe is easy. So flip it in your mind if it kind of confuses you a little bit on that. It did with me at first. So if you're number 1, you have the easiest schedule. And if you're, 32nd, you have the hardest schedule. So we have number 2 for the Seattle Seahawks as their past strength of schedule. So they've had basically the second easiest schedule by actual record this year and how it's played out in the NFL. The Seahawks have had the second easiest schedule so far leading up to this point. Now that coin flips to the other side in the back half of the schedule, or back quarter of the schedule, you're going to be with essentially the third toughest schedule in the entire NFL going down the home stretch. So for those of you out there that said, well, we haven't beat anybody yet, I don't know what we got in this team yet, they still need to prove something to me. They're going to have more than opportunity here down this end of the season here to make those prove it to you kind of moments, even to capture a game or two there of those tough games. I think that would do that for the fan base in many ways. Not to mention, you get these 2 wins, you go get yourself 1 or 2 other wins, you're up around 11 or 12 wins, and really do have a chance at that point to maybe go out there and take this division. I think it is going to be an uphill battle here with the Rams playing as well as they are, and the fact that if you have the tiebreaker come down to you and the Rams, it does look like the Rams are going to take that tiebreaker. But we will learn a lot about the Seattle Seahawks over the next 5-6 weeks here with some of these teams they play, to see if they're legitimate, to see if they're ready to go make some noise for the playoffs, to ramp up and get to themselves into the best possible shape they can be by the end of the year. Injuries looking pretty good. You're sound there. So all those little parameters are good, but now you just got to go take care of business against some of the better teams here in the NFL, including your own division, who's kind of had your number a little bit up until this point, just a little bit with the Niners and the Rams here over the past couple of years. Interesting though.